Welcome to the Nourish and Restore podcast with me, Nina, and my awesome friend, Nicole, where we bring all things nourishing and restorative to you, your body, mind, and soul. A chance for you to enjoy simple tools to help you live a happier, healthier, and more peaceful life. Join us now as we move into conversation.
So welcome everyone to our podcast for today in conversation with Nina and Nicole. We hope you all had an amazing time over the festive season, as well as a good start into the new year. This month we're going to be talking about the third eye. And yeah, Nina, how are you doing? And get started.
Let's get cracking. Hi, Nicole. All good this side. I was just tending to one of my little chickens that has a full crop. So apart from that, chicken is, I think, doing well. The joys of farm life and just, being able to be in nature and things like that. I just love it. So I'm looking forward to our Ajna Chakra, our center of intuition, our chat that we're going to be starting. But before we get there, how are things going on your side, my friend?
Yes, thank you. All good. It's a bit of a depressing, sad, cloudy, rainy day, but those are actually quite welcomed, I must be honest. It really helps to slow us down a little bit and just to really enjoy the coziness of winter and indoors. But yeah, thank you. Also looking forward to really chatting about this theme for this month, as I find it so relevant for January, allowing ourselves to go inwards a little bit, allowing ourselves to really connect, as you said, with our intuition and our inner guidance.
So like you're saying, Nicole, our intuition is really just that innate intelligence which is within us, that deep inner wisdom that is housed in each and every one of our souls, that is housed in our energy field, in our energy body. And the important thing is just realizing, to align our intuition with our intelligence. And if we have just a sense of intuition, there's like an understanding without conscious reasoning or without a deep knowing. We're operating just from the heart. Often kind of our sense of intuition, we feel it in our heart or our gut, the stomach area. And if we've got this intuition without intelligence, it can just lead to poor choices because we feel like, this is the right thing in this moment, and it might be, this is like a good part to this project I should be doing. It feels good. Or, another second glass of wine is going to go well. Or, I really feel like a chocolate. Whereas when we don't have that kind of like intelligence that with like, is this deeply what I am desiring? Is it just like a quick kind of fleeting idea or moment? Or is it actually something that comes deep from within? And the same goes with, if we run around through life with just a sense of intelligence, so kind of intelligence being the ability to acquire and I'd say like apply knowledge and skills. So whatever we're learning, through our lifetimes in schools, from family, from courses we do, it's very much kind of in the brain, very cognitive, very logical. And if we're only ever operating from that space, it can lead to a life without deep fulfillment because we're never actually connecting with ourselves deep within. And we can find that sometimes with, relationships we get into. Sometimes, on paper, it looks good. We have the same interests, we have the same maybe family outlook, the same values. But if there's not that deep, intuitive connection that comes from the stomach or the heart, then it's very often destined for failure, or we go, through the relationship, holding on, trying to make it work and not understanding why. So just that combination of really, aligning the intuition with intelligence and not realizing that one is more important or less important than the other, because it's never like that with anything in life, but having a beautiful balance between the two.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, the other thing is, if we're only ever operating from the brain without connecting to our heart, it just leads to that whole mental breakdown, and we get stuck in the intellect and we overanalyze every little thing we do and other people do. And we're not actually just able to sit back and lean back and take a breath and really feel the situation and what is happening. So for me, definitely, aligning intuition, so that heart connection with intelligence, the brain connection. And when we connect those two, we obviously, in the center is the throat. And when we have a free flow of energy between that, and our throat center is open, we're really able to express ourselves in the world. We can live and speak our divine truth. We don't get caught up in that center. So I think that's where I'd start getting a little deep, maybe, with a sense of intuition. And how about you, Nicole? What are you thinking of when it comes to our Ajna chakra, our third eye center?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Just as you said, that importance of that balance between head, mind, and heart. And that's why also for me the beauty of the location of the third eye, in the center of your forehead, as well as the center of the back of your head. That's where the Ajna chakra lies, and that to me is just such a beautiful, what's the word I'm looking for? Such a beautiful symbol, even, symbolism, because when you're thinking of something, when you can't think of something, where do you put your hand? You put your hand on your head, like, trying to help you think. So just alone, that gesture of putting your hand on your forehead allows you to close your eyes and go within. So it's so interesting, because we do so many little things every day that we don't even realize assist us in keeping us balanced, in finding our voice, our truth. And I also strongly feel that the part of the intuition and the intelligence really lies deep within our hearts, and actually is, our inner wisdom. It's our inner voice. I feel that a lot of us, myself included, in the past, all the answers always lay outside of me. It was in the next book that I read. It was in the next course that I did. I was searching for meaning and trying to figure myself out. But what better way to do that than turning your vision inside, And this is where meditation comes in handy, where the practice of yoga nidra, even walking in nature, by yourself or in a group, but in silence. So it's almost like an active meditation. Allows you to turn your attention, your senses, and everything inwards in order for you to really assess, where am I at right now in this present moment? What am I feeling? What am I needing? What is realistic? And how can I best achieve my goals? In a sense of, what am I passionate for? But at the same time, what is in my reach for now?
Yes.
It's so important to have those 5-year goals or 3-year goals, but it's equally as important to have those little steps, because on that ladder, if you only have huge steps, you're going to struggle,
It's overwhelming.
Absolutely, yes. And that's exactly where we then become anxious and we become frustrated, because we don't know how to move forward or what's best for us. And just even me talking about these kind of symptoms and the feeling this way already makes me frazzled, because what you end up doing is you end up throwing your energy out there. It's like taking a bowl of seeds and throwing them out. And you know what can happen is all of them can germinate. What do you do then? Do you know what I mean? So instead of throwing your energy out there and becoming dispersed and scattered, rather collect that energy of yours, hold it inside, allow it to grow within, and then see which part of you has a more grounded growth, you know. So this is also where the other chakras come in. So when you start meditation, you start by grounding with your root chakra to the earth. You know, then you bring in that balance of the energy into your sacral chakra, the feminine and the masculine and the creativity, drawing that energy further up into the solar plexus, that inner power, that inner, you know, soul fire. And then allowing that to filter through your heart space. You know, how does that feel? Does it feel good? Is it a little bit too much? You know, and then up into that throat chakra, allowing to voice, you know, how you're feeling, where you want to go, and what your likes and dislikes are. And then moving up into the third eye. But I want to say almost again moving back down again, because you're almost collecting yourself again from there, you know, from almost maybe from a higher vision or inner vision. So it's such a beautiful process of turning within, of grounding, of centering, of being that eye in the storm. Do you say that? Eye of the needle. You know, being that quietness, yes. Being in that quietness of that chaos around you, you know, is so important, especially in the times that we find ourselves in now, and especially for the month of January, because you want to start the year off grounded. You want to start the year off grounded. You want to start the year off with a sense of peace. And of course hope for amazing magical things. And you can't do that if you are running around like a headless chicken, you know. Bless your little chicken.
Still got ahead at this stage.
Yes, thank goodness. I hope her throat heals soon. And how ironic as well that she has a little throat issue.
Exactly. You know, you touch on so many beautiful things, Nicole. And when you were chatting about, you know, moving through the chakras from the base up, and then again, you know, like from the third eye or from the crown down again. It's kind of like also working with the pulsation of the universe. So often there's like an expansion outwards and inwards, but also there's a pulsation up and down, you know, from the earth to the heavens and from the heavens down to the earth. That kind of, you know, sensation. There is that pulsation, that movement. And when we've got that pulsation, when we've got that rhythm, that free flow of energy up and back down, you know, and it's doing that easily and freely, then there's a sense of health and well-being. There's this, you know, we feel positive, we feel aligned with the actions and the activities that we do. And when there's that stagnation and there's kind of not that free flow, you know, that's when we kind of find that issues arise that come up to challenge us, that we need to look at. And so saying that, you know, not getting overwhelmed by the whole thing, and not also thinking that, you know, that intuition is just for certain people. You know, it's not clairvoyance or something like that. There may be a big part to it, but every single person has an intuitive aspect to them. And it's just like the 5 koshas, the 5 layers to a human. You know, there's a physical layer, there's the pranic layer, there's the mental emotional sheath, there's the intuitive sheath, and then there's the bliss sheath, each becoming a lot more subtle as we go and as we progress. So everyone has this, even if you don't feel that, you know, you are intuitive, it's there. It just means you maybe haven't, like you were saying before, quieten down the mind enough to actually hear what needs to arise and what needs to awaken. And with that, as important as it is to go deep within and look within and to hear and learn the lessons from within, we also need to surround ourselves, be in community with the people that are going to support that kind of practice. There's no point to, if you're wanting to build your sense of intuition, you're going to hang out with people who are wanting to do the same thing. If you're wanting to become a runner, you're going to join a running club and start running, because it's so much easier to do that in a group where there's accountability than trying to do it by yourself. The same thing, if you're wanting to pick up art, you're going to join an art class. If you're wanting to pick up yoga, you're going to join a yoga class. So, when the activities that we're wanting to do, we need to find the groups of people that are on that path, are on that level. The same thing with, certain thoughts or emotions or the type of meditations or yoga nidra we want to do. That's why, the community that we've created, they resonate with us, because there's certain things that we do that either others want to do as well or are currently doing, and it draws them to this group that we've created, this podcast series that we've created with Nourish and Restore. So that's, to me, is like, a lovely, also intuitive way of connecting. Very often, when we maybe, I should really say this, but scrolling haphazardly through Instagram or Facebook sometimes, or online, we come across a personality, a page or something that draws us to it, and sometimes there's something to that. I mean, that's why, we're all out there. We're wanting to share and educate and help others on their path. It's just, we don't want to get caught up doing that kind of behavior willy-nilly without any deeper understanding as to, why we may be online, at that particular time, or what it is. We don't want to use it as an escapism. I think that's what I'm looking
absolutely,
for. So that to me is just the sense of, pulsation, finding communities that work with where you're at, where you're wanting to get to your next identity and evolution that you're wanting to go towards, and kind of the sense of, like we were chatting about, self-study, the sense of svadhyaya that we call it in Sanskrit, which is literally the core of Ayurveda, the self-study, testing what's working, what isn't working, what's working this season, what isn't going to work the next season, what's working this phase of my life, how's that going to change as I evolve and move into the next phase of my life. So I think that's, I'll take a little break for now. I feel like I've been intuitively speaking.
Oh, no, it's all good. It's all good. But it's so true, that ebb and flow is just so beautiful. And it just reminds me again of that give and take, that change. And, sometimes you go through stagnation, and sometimes that stagnation is really good, that feeling of floating and I'm not quite sure where I'm going. That platform is such a beautiful platform to have, because from that platform you can create whatever you want to, So really taking advantage of that, going within, of connecting to your inner wisdom, of saying, okay, I'm finding myself here. Either, it can be down in the dumps, or it can be in kind of like no man's land, or it can even be like, my life is really amazing and going so well. And the importance, I think, what I'm trying to get to is being able to take a step out of your own picture, viewing it from a different angle, so that you then know, okay, let's move forward this way, because this and this didn't work as well as I had hoped it would, in the past. And it's quite beautiful, because it also ties in, I suppose, with the reflections that some of us have gone through in the last week of 2021, What were the lessons that I learned this year? What can I reflect on? How can I maybe do something different and reap more benefits from it? Or, even if the benefits are, not necessarily materialistic benefits, but growth and expansion, and then turning that into now being in the new year. How can I support that? How can I nourish that ground in order for me to really, live this year and have an amazing year ahead? So yeah, I feel that also I would like to just maybe leave our listeners with, if there's a piece of advice, or I don't really like saying advice, but if you would like to try something new, if something in your life isn't working right now, I find that the days that I really take out, even if it's just 15 or 20 minutes earlier in the morning, where I take that time out for myself, I get onto my mat, I might only do 2 salutations and then meditate for 5 minutes. If I do that, my day is amazing. It starts
100%.
off
so
well.
there with you.
Yeah, it starts off well. I ground myself. I center myself. Sometimes if I know I have something specific I need to do that day, I place intention into that. And then I find like other days, and how ironic, I mean, usually it's like on a Sunday where I'm like, oh no, I'm too lazy and I'm just going to sleep in, and then I'm just going to roll out of bed and, and have breakfast. And it's usually on days like that where I set my routine aside, that it becomes a really sluggish kind of day, like I can't get up, I can't do anything. And by all means, those days are also great at some point in your life. But yeah, I think if you're truly trying to achieve something, if you're truly trying to better yourself, if you're wanting to make a change because you're not happy with something in your life, then find a routine, find something where you can wake up in the morning, either go for a little walk around the block, or change the coffee for tea, or, try and move away from the stimulants, and rather use your own gifts of connecting to self, connecting to your inner wisdom, even maybe connecting to source, in order for you to gain that knowledge, that groundedness, that centering, in order for you to move forward with intent.
Yeah. And you know what, how are you saying, Nicole, we're all such individual people, humans, but generally, I mean, like if you look at the 3 doshas, the vata, the pitta, and the kapha, most of us are predominantly 1. I mean, the 2 of us, we've got a lot of vata in us, so we're very creative and out there and spontaneous, and it's very easy for us to connect to the subtler aspects. Most vata people are the same. They can really easily connect to that sense of intuition, kind of going with the flow, because the energy is so volatile and so movable, and we're so spacey already. It's kind of like we're in that etheric space already, and for us it's so important to use that space of grounding and meditation to not be spacey out there with the energy, but actually to bring it, hone it in. And like you were saying, with like planting the seed, like it's like just focus on it inwardly without throwing the seeds out externally. So kind of like with us that have a lot of vata, that quieting down, going inwards, really focusing, that's where we can harness that sense of intuition. Whereas like someone who's got a lot of pitta, a lot of fire in them, they're so determined, they're so focused on the goal oriented, which is fabulous, but sometimes we've actually got to just soften the edges around it a little, to maybe, see, well, maybe we need to just change the direction like 1% or 2%, and we'll get to the goal more easily. And that's where the subtle aspect of intuition can come into play. And then when we look at like the couple who's just, quite earthy, there's a sense of denseness, and they're beautiful people, especially for the Vatas to be with, because they just totally ground us and slow us down and like nurture and nourish us. But for them, because they've got so much earth and water in them, there's like a denseness. They struggle the most with kind of connecting to the etheric, and they're probably the ones listening who are like, what the hell is this intuition stuff? And for them, it's actually like to move the energy, like you were saying, do a couple of sun salutations, get out, go for a walk, start getting the prana within the body moving and active, so that there's more rhythm, expansion, contraction within the body. Because when there is that movement, you are then able to connect to the subtleties that are around us. So also just, taking into consideration what your main dosha is, and, thinking, okay, well, understanding it, having a good understanding of it, and then utilizing it to be able to listen to that intuition with a sense of connecting to the intellect as well. So I thought I would throw that one in quickly before we close up.
It's such a good one, the different doshas, and I also just want to let our listeners know to please, get in touch with you if people aren't familiar with the doshas yet, or maybe we can do a little write-up on them on the Facebook page. Because
I think I'll put a link to it, like a really cool quiz.
Good.
Botanicals. Let me do that.
Yes, that would be awesome, because then at least people can also just kind of touch into that and kind of also see where they can benefit from knowing their dosha, which is amazing. Exactly. Yeah, I could carry on talking about this forever and ever and ever.
I think we both could.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I still want to say is that, moving into the third eye, the Ajna chakra, and then moving higher, the crown chakra, and etc. This is also really the gateway for us to connect to higher realms, to connect to higher frequencies. And it's actually such a beautiful practice, because it's a part of you that is able to really connect with the different dimensions, of this plane. And as you so beautifully said, the Vatas have to ground, but it's a practice that I really, really enjoy, because it allows me to bring lightness into my life. I find that life often becomes quite heavy with all the mundane doings, like working, getting, just the everyday kind of stuff. Exactly. Yes.
Paying bills.
Yes. The human earthy stuff. And then when I have that opportunity to just sit and meditate, it's just so playful, and it's just so magical. So yeah, again,
I love that, kind of like what you said, Nicole, like it doesn't have to be like this like serious, meditation, where it's rigid or regimental. You can have fun. It can be playful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I think I've said in another month, where it's just like connect with that inner child, and have fun with it all. Don't forget to have fun. Yeah,
exactly. Just because you lose the count that you're on, if you're doing a accounting meditation, in the sense, don't get upset with yourself. Have a little laugh, and get back into that lovely quiet space, and just let it nourish and nurture you, and like snuggle you and hold you. That's kind of like the space that you're wanting to be. When you're in that space of comfort and love, you can go so much further. When there's a constant strain or worry, or that feeling of not good enough, or this isn't working, or I'm not doing it right, you lost the plot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, it comes down to accepting yourself and forgiving yourself. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to, be human. But moving forward from there, when we know better, we can do better.
Exactly. Love
yeah.
it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, I think that definitely has been super helpful. It's been super helpful for me to chat about all these aspects. And hopefully it'll be fun and lighthearted and really helpful to our listeners as well. Any last kind of final closing thoughts or remarks you have, Nicole?
No, I would say take advantage of this month, really use the tools that we are offering, the Yoga Nidra, the yoga, the breath work to benefit you in helping you really kickstart 2022 into, what you dream of it to be, and allow yourself to concentrate on yourself, what or who do you want to become?
Yourself, yeah?
Yes, to nurture, nourish yourself, and who do you want to become,
Exactly.
So yes, over and out.
Lovely. Well, Nicole, wishing you a lovely, nourishing, nurturing, restorative day ahead, and all our listeners as well.
Thank you. Same to you. Namaste to everybody. Lots of love.
Lots of love. Bye. This is Nina
and Nicole sending you a big thank you for listening to the Nourish and Restore podcast.
This is our podcast for health and wellness workers and learners out there, a resource for you to nourish your body, mind, and soul, and to restore yourself to your natural state of being.
Simple ways to live healthier, happier, and at ease.
For more information on working with me, Nina Sachs, visit www.saacks.com.
And to work with me, Nicole, visit www.lov-me.com.
To find out more about Nourish and Restore, visit our website or Facebook page, nourishandrestore.yoga.
Links will be in the show notes.
We look forward to catching up with you next week.
Namaste and have a nourishing day.